Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for part 2 of the Q&A, so let's go ahead and get this started. Alright, first question. Hey coach, looking fine. How do someone determine if accommodating resistance can be a useful training tool? I love changing bands, but how do I know they're right for me at a given time? It's not about are they right for you at a given time. It's the question of do you know how to utilize them and program them and train with them correctly? Because used inappropriately, you can potentially regress. Right? If all your loading parameters and the use of them and your training loads and volumes and everything are incorrect, you may actually lose size and strength. That's the concern. It's not are you at a point in your training. And what I mean by that is that if I had someone who I was coaching in person, and again, I'm probably not going to do that because I don't want to give people access to my home and my life schedule and everything. Again, it would be prohibitively expensive for someone to do that. Like, it would not be worth it to anybody who's not wealthy. But that being said, if I were to do that, or, again, coach a loved one or something like that, I would have no problem once they know the basic form. If they can box squat, if they can deadlift, if they can bench press with decent form, and they are strong enough to use more than double the barbell. In other words, someone whose bench press is only 60 pounds, it's a problem. I want them to be able to do a 90-pound bench press. Right? Because the barbell's 45 pounds. They need to be able to box squat at least 90 pounds with good form. Because we're going to have to hook bands and chains to this, and I want that base weight to be at least 50% of their max. Like, we want to be at that point. And so the barbell's the lightest weight we have, and I don't have a 20-pound training bar like that. I would need them to have at least a 90-pound bench press and a 90-pound box squat off of a 12-inch box. That would be my requirements. And I would have no trouble coaching them with that. Could a person who only has, say, I don't know, a 135 bench and a 225 squat, who is coaching themselves and training themselves and setting their own stuff up, they don't have the requisite knowledge in order to utilize these tools. Therefore, they would get it wrong, and I wouldn't recommend them do it. It's not about your experience level, it's about your coach's experience level. So my question would be is, do you know how to use them? Do you know how to program them? There are people, again, Louis Sim is a perfect example. I mean, the person who really brought this stuff into the forefront. He has taken lifters, documented, taken lifters who were novice lifters with not even a true strength-based build, and ran them into his system with his normal people, starting with little silly lightweights and taking them all the way to world level lifters, doing no other form of training in their entire life. It's totally doable. It's the question of, do you have the proper coaching, whether it's yourself or someone else, to use these tools? I would say the minimum requirement, though, is a 90-pound bench press and a 90-pound box squat max. That would be your minimum, though. And that's just for logistics reasons. All right, next question. Hey, Jason, I have done your 5x5 ice cream fitness program for 6 months, and I have got a lot of strength and size gains. But I have created my own routine, which consists of push, pull, legs, rest, full body. What are your thoughts on this? I am not a fan of push-pull legs. I've made that pretty clear historically. So when I've made multiple videos saying that unless you have a very good reason, and that good reason means you have a world-class level coach coaching you. And I'm talking a coach who has no less than 3 world record holders in powerlifting, or no less than 3 Super Bowl winners in his strength and conditioning program. That's your minimum. Don't deviate from full body 3 days a week or 4-day upper lower. Okay? These are proven templates that get people to the elite level. Right? They are proven protocols. They're based upon everything you need for training balance. There is no reason to ever play with the push-pull legs other than you decided you want to be a snowflake and do something different than what every single elite coach in the world has successfully done with athletes, right? You're basically stepping over into trendy YouTube or something else nonsense. Okay, that's what you're doing when you're doing rotations like that. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's bad. But you asked me what are my thoughts on it. No, I would never prescribe such a thing. I would never recommend such a thing. I'm not interested in programming such a thing. If you were to ask me my opinion, I would say if you want to push away from full body, do upper lower 4 days a week. All right, you can program everything you could possibly need in terms of volume and frequency off of that template. All right, let me state that again. You can literally program everything you could possibly need other than for a very highly specialized niche elite athlete. You could program everything you need off of that template and reach all your ideal frequencies, volumes, programming, whatever you need to do with your periodization. It's not difficult. So based upon that, my question to you would be, other than just because you want to be a different snowflake, why do you need any sort of bizarre split like that? Why? What are you planning on getting out of it? You do know it's not better. And that would be my point. You do realize it's not better in any way. You are just choosing to be different because you want to be different. I'm not personally concerned with being different. I'm concerned with effective. If you were to come to me as a paid client and say maximize the split, I would fire you as a client, because you're now telling me how to coach on the way that we split your routine, instead of saying here's my schedule, here's what I enjoy, how can we make this work, right? Make it work around your lifestyle. I wouldn't want to program such nonsense, right? I mean, you can do it if you want, but that's my opinion. You asked for it, my thoughts. Well, there they are. All right, next question. And I gave this poster a very hard time for this question, because anyone who's followed my channel, and he seems to be a long-term follower, knows that it doesn't work like this. But how much higher should your strict press be than your body weight? For example, is a 220 strict press good for someone who weighs 210 and is natty, or should they be able to do a lot more? How many people do you think who are 210 and natural strict press more than 220? Like, what do you mean should do a lot more? Do you know how rare that is? No, seriously, how many guys do you see who are strict pressing 2 plates plus per side who are like 200, 210 at the gym? Especially who are natural. Not even 1% of guys are going to reach that. People who strict press more than their body weight are usually under 200 pounds, and they're usually below average height, right? Is that a fair statement? Not saying everyone, but I'm saying the overwhelming majority. When you get into truly strong guys, it comes down to, again, size versus strength as far as flat ratios go, and in this case, you're using a body weight multiplier. And in this case, it's 1 times your body weight is the multiplier. Those only are useful for determining how tall you are and how much muscle you have relative to your height. Tall guys are never going to hit the same multiplier as a short guy hits. So when you start talking about dramatically exceeding a strict press more than your body weight, you're probably talking about a guy who's 5'5", or a guy who's hitting the sauce pretty hard. Because tall guys who hit the sauce pretty hard, really tall guys, even really jack guys who actually strict press even their own body weight, are rare. A perfect example, Thor, the Mountain, Gregor Clegane. Do you know what his standing press is? It's less than his body weight. Now, is his standing press insane? Yeah, he's done like 405 for a double. He's done 405 for a double. That's insane. But if we start talking about relative to his body weight, you would say, man, that's really bad. I see YouTubers do more than their body weight all the time. You see the problem there? But he's also close to 7 feet tall. You're seeing some 5'5" guys do 40 pounds more than their body weight. It's because they're short and they're stacked and they focus on pressing. What happens when an average height guy or an above average height guy who actually trains his legs, you're not going to see this. Quit worrying about it. We have strength and conditioning charts based upon different weight classes that show you your level of classification. Go use those charts. Stop using multipliers. And in this case, you're still using a multiplier. You're using body weight times 1 as a standard of how far you should be above that. It's like, again, I don't know how much more should you squat, more than double your body weight, more or less than that. Well, if you're a world's strongest man competitor, you probably can barely hit or not even hit double your body weight. If you're a 5'3" guy who's lean, you might squat 3 times your body weight. So it's the same deal either way, brother. Quit using these multipliers. Go use the chart. We have charts, we have standards, we have tables for this. Use those. Look at them. All right, guys, so that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.